this offseason is simple. It's simple. Use free agency to go heavy defense. Use the draft to go heavy offense. That's exactly what I think the Eagles are going to do. But when you think of this defense, you have to remember it's predicated and built on your defensive line, on a pass rush. The Eagles need to have a better pass rush than they did last year. And it'll help out with your secondary. It'll help out your entire defense. That's why I think one of the big signings the Eagles will have this offseason is going to be none other than Vic Beasley. Still stinks. Yo, everybody doing? King Ding back here, and I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. You know, over the last, I'd say, week or so, a lot of people have asked me, why do I want to go heavy defense and free agency and heavy offense in the draft? And I'm going to give you 3 reasons of why I'm thinking this, okay? The first reason, when you look at the draft and you look at the wide receiver position, it's stacked. It is stacked. There are a lot of great players. And I think in the first round, you could get a wide receiver that could come in and make an impact right away. Okay, the second reason is I can't afford to take my chances in the second, in the third, in the fourth round with a wide receiver, because Howie Roseman has a history of messing up wide receivers, especially in the mid rounds. I cannot take a chance. And even though it's deep and people think that you can't miss, I don't agree. I can't take a chance, meaning that I'm going to have to use one of my first round picks to hopefully trade up and get a guy like a Ruggs or a Judy or Lamb. I'm going to have to make a big move in round 1 and get one of the guys that are as close to a can't miss prospect as I can get. Okay, that's why I'm going that way in the draft. Now, on defense in free agency, it's simple. The Eagles have a lot of holes on defense. A ton of holes on defense. And you don't need guys that are going to take 2 or 3 years to develop to insert them in that defense. You need guys that could come in and play right away, that could play next year. And the only way you're going to find those players is through free agency. I'm not going to draft a corner in the second round and then be able to just necessarily start him and think everything's going to be fine. It doesn't work that way. A lot of times these guys take a while to develop. So I'm going to use free agency, my $43 million under the cap, to try to get my defense built up. Then I'm going to bring in young guys through the draft on offense that will be with my quarterback on a cheap contract for the next 5 years. That's my thinking behind it, okay? Now, when you think about the defense and all the needs, of course you need it. You need 2 starting corners. You need a safety. You don't have linebackers. And one of the big underrated holes that people don't talk about is the pass rush. I think the Eagles need to add another pass rusher. And I think that the way they view pass rushers, the way they view linebackers, even safeties, I think they're going to sign a pass rusher in free agency. I think you're going to see them, their main signing, their first big signing is going to be a corner. Maybe a Bradbury, Chris Harris, whoever it is. I think they're going to sign a starting corner. And then I think the move you're going to see, and people are going to be surprised, is they're going to sign another defensive end, another defensive lineman. The Eagles' defense is built on getting to the quarterback. It's built on that pass rush. Okay, that's what the Eagles, that's what they count on. And when you don't have that, like we didn't last year, it was very inconsistent. It's going to make your secondary look bad. Okay, and we know how the Eagles value linebackers. They don't value them a lot. I can't see them going out spending big money on one. Not that they shouldn't. I think they should. But history tells us they won't. At safety position, we'll see if they bring McLeod back. I would go ahead, renegotiate with Malcolm Jenkins, make him happy. I would then move Rasul Douglas to safety, but that's just me. You're going to draft a safety in the mid-rounds too, but they're going to have to do something there. But I don't see a lot of money being spent at that safety position or the linebacking position. I think you're going to see big money spent on 3 areas of free agency. You're going to see linebackers, you're going to see secondary guys, but I don't think there'll be big money, okay? I think you'll see big money at the corner, one cornerback spot, defensive end spot, and then a wide receiver possibly, okay? Those where I think you'll see the biggest money in free agency go. But I think the top two are going to be corner and defensive end. Now, when I talk about defensive end, I'm not talking about Yannick Ngakoue. I don't think the Eagles would be able to afford him in free agency. Although I would love him, believe me, I've done videos on him. I don't think it's him. But if you go maybe a level down in free agency, there may be a guy who's a perfect fit. And the guy I'm specifically talking about is Vic Beasley. Vic Beasley may be the perfect fit for the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody talks about he's perfect fit for a wide nine. His former defensive coordinator, Marquand Manuel, is now with the Eagles, and it just would make a lot of sense for the Eagles to do this. Now, you're saying, well, they got Derek Barnett already, they got Brandon Graham already, and that's very true. But you got to remember, the Eagles love to rotate these guys in and out. They love to rotate these guys in and out. How much production did you really get from Vinny Curry? He's probably going to be gone. Brandon Graham had 8.5 sacks last year. Vic Beasley had 8, so he only had a half a sack less. And look, Brandon Graham's older. You don't know, at what point maybe age catches up with him or he gets hurt or something like that. Derek Barnett, let's face it, he hasn't lived up to his billings as a first-round pick. Now, maybe he'll turn it on. Maybe it was injury-related. Who knows? I don't know. All I know is he hasn't lived up to it. He needs double-digit sacks. However, when one of these guys goes down or one of these guys go out, it would be nice to have somebody who can get to the quarterback still. So if you're giving Derek Barnett a breather or Brandon Graham, it hurts his ankle or he goes out, it'd be nice to have somebody that could come rotate in with the Eagles. I think Vic Beasley makes a lot of sense. He's going to be 28 in July. He had 15 sacks in 2016, 5 sacks 2017, 5 sacks in 2018. Then I think he had 8 sacks last year. I think with the Eagles, he could be a very good rotational player. I think it would be costing you a lot of money to have that third defensive end, but I think it would be worth it, especially the way the Eagles play defense, how they build their defense. Look, and we could talk about how they love to use Brandon Graham inside on pass rushing situations. Imagine if you could put Brandon Graham inside and you have Barnett and Beasley on the outside. I think it would be a great pass rush, and it would greatly increase the production of sacks, getting to the quarterback, which would then in turn help the secondary. So if I'm the Eagles, I think Vic Beasley is the way to go. Now, if he gets some ridiculous offer and he becomes, crazy money, that's one thing. I don't think he's going to get that. I don't think he's going to get it. I think you're going to have to pay him, but I think you're going to be able to pay him maybe as a level 2, level 3 free agent. And if they can do that, I think they have to go after Vic Beasley, and I think he's the perfect fit. Everybody talks about how he fits that wide nine. He has connections with our defensive back coach. It just makes a lot of sense for the Eagles to do it. And if they could add him and then a corner in free agency, their defense would be greatly, greatly improved. The defensive line is the heart, the bread and butter of this defense. And if you're not getting to the quarterback consistently, you're going to have problems. And when that happens, you see what happens. Schwartz doesn't like to blitz. So, yes, defensive ends, we spend a lot of money on them. We put a lot of preference and a lot of capital into defensive ends. And we got to do it again this offseason. So I think Vic Beasley is the perfect target for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me know what you think in the comment section. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. And don't be a dingbat.